respectively, of the series. Tennessee baseball, they are in Gainesville for a matchup against Florida this weekend. Game 1 coming up tonight. Garrett Stallings on the mound for the Volunteers. He is 7-3. Start building your legend today. It's the Jeep Celebration event going on now at your local Jeep dealer. I'm Matt Pauley with the Sports Flash on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio.
If you
Well, as this unmistakable music indicates, this is actually the Citadel fight song. Now, normally you don't have fight songs like this in baseball. You know, if you're going to have a fight song in baseball, what would be a fight song in baseball? I'm trying to think about, you know, there are many and all this. I really wanted to have, when we had the Braves a few years ago, the old, "It's a brand new game, good to have you along, hope you're ready to cheer" lead in to the Atlanta Braves broadcast from back in the day, which, I mean, that hasn't been used in years and all that, but they had a Dixieland band. It had to go back to 66. Absolutely had to go back there. And anyway, but you think of a baseball fight song or something, I don't know, you think of something like, oh, you know, "Go Cubs, go, go Cubs, go." That one's sappy. "Hey, Chicago, what do you say?" I think of "We Are Family." A lot of people might think of something like this. I used to, when I would watch Yankees games as a kid on TV, or listen to them on, say, WABC, back when they were their flagship, and Frank Messer would call the games and all that. They would use this sort of theme, usually as an instrumental, as the backdrop. See, they don't seem to be all that upset with critical fans there in New York. That's what I got from this song. Anyway, it's actually commissioned when CBS bought the Yankees, and they always lost. This was the best thing that came out of the CBS era of the New York Yankees. They commissioned this song, and you know, they still use it. I mean, I used to be just, you know, you could not separate yourself from the Yankees in this song. I mean, you would have, you know, Frank Messer and Phil Rizzuto talk over this musical. This instrumental. See, I really think that around here they get on fans for being too critical, or media for being, you know, had it right there in the Yankees fight song. They're not backing down from it right there. But I don't know all you. Anyway, I mentioned the Cidadel's fight song and another baseball fight song to talk about the Bucks-Bulldogs baseball series down in Charleston, South Carolina. Yep. But really, this is the rematch with Tony Skole. It's the second time that this has occurred, a rematch with Tony Skole, former ETSU baseball coach. Now, the Buccaneers have been losing lately, and what looked to be a season-ending series next week against the Samford Bulldogs, that would be possibly, for all the marbles in the Southern Conference, at least for the regular season, now looks to be inconsequential. Now the glamour series, if you will, almost seems to be ETSU and the Citadel, simply because it is Tony Skole who is coming back. But the Citadel Bulldogs, and remember, the Citadel made the College World Series in 1990. I mean, the Citadel you're supposed to win. The New York Yankees used to have a scouting director, George Bradley. He was from the Citadel. Okay? I mean, this is a good baseball program historically. Now, we know that Tony Skole lost more than he won in Johnson City. He's now 10-37 with a 3-15 conference mark in his second year at the Citadel. Yeah, they're playing at 3 p.m. today, and then tomorrow at 2 p.m., and then at 1 p.m. ETSU has been, as I said, very struggling late. They've dropped 7 of their last 8. They will continue to have top 3 starters go at it. Micah Kazor, 5-1. He goes against Jordan Merritt of the Bulldogs, who's only 3-6, the 4.18 ERA, and that's the best pitcher they got to go up against the Bucks. Because then righty Landon Knack at 8-3. Remember when he was 8-0? He's now 8-3. He goes up against lefty Shane Connolly, who's 3-6 with a 4.97 ERA, and then the Science Hill product Daniel Sweeney at 5-3 with a 3.55 ERA. Even that has sort of escalated. He'll go against Jordan Flanders, 0-4 with a 5.228 ERA. See what I did? His name was Flanders. See that? Huh? You get the joke? Huh? All right. Anyway, Citadel, by the way, leads the all-time series 59-34. Let's see here. Last 2 seasons, the Citadel has won 2 of 3, with ETSU taking the finale. That's intriguing. I just, if the Citadel wins that series for the 3rd straight year, what does that say about the baseball programs? Because you'd have a very poor Citadel team, but the old coach with a bunch of new players, a bunch of Joe Panucci players, going and losing to their old coach. Or to ETSU's old coach, I should say. So I said the Bucks 28-17. They did play a lot of weak sisters up front. Now, not all. I mean, this team beat Tennessee, which has been nationally ranked this year. So let's hold up. But now, when it appeared that they were going to contend for the Southern Conference Championship, they're now 7-10, and they have been swept by Mercer and UNCG in the last 2 series. The Citadel, by the way, is on a 17-game, yes, you heard me, 17-game losing streak. I mentioned the pitching matchups right there, which even with, let us say, the recent slumps by the Bucs starters, still, though, the Buccaneers have far better overall stats than do the Bulldogs. But yes, it's sort of intriguing right now. And again, it's the rematch with Tony Skole. If you're wondering how Tony Skole was able to keep his job for so long in Johnson City despite having a losing record, and I mean, even the new stadium did not do a heck of a lot. I know they had initially a winning record, but it didn't do very much for the for ETSU, who, by the way, now stands, after contending earlier in the season for first place, now stands in 6th place in the Southern Conference. The Citadel brings up the rear, by the way, as, let's see here, the 9th place team in the conference. Regardless, they're 3-15. I'm looking through here. Let's see, Sanford, Wofford, Mercer, UNCG, Furman, ETSU, Western, VMI, and a Citadel. Okay, yeah, that's the I'm trying to look. Chattanooga does not have a baseball team. I was not aware of that. Okay. Regardless, ETSU does, and they have been falling fast. They've lost, the 7 in a row in the Southern Conference, by the way. Citadel has lost 11 in a row. They are 0-9 on the road and 3-6 at home, but now reading standings gets to be awfully boring. I said, how did Tony Skole keep his job? I'm going to give you 2 things. One is, for so long, although he was not hired by David Mullins, he worked for a long time under David Mullins. And as a result, David Mullins did not like to fire anybody. Because at ETSU, everything was happy and wonderful and things were stupendous, even if the baseball team was putting up a losing record year after year after year after year after year. If Mullins had to fire anyone, he'd have to admit he made a mistake. There was once actually even a buyout attempt of Skole, I am told, but it was unsuccessful. Another reason is because he was a pretty good guy. I know that for a while, some may say I still am, even though I helped bring back ETSU football, but was the biggest, the leading media member for that. But here we go. ETSU, during the Mullins era, there were a lot of people that kind of looked at me as sort of a pariah. He may still do, I don't know. Tony Skole never did. In fact, I even talked to some independent baseball managers about some of his players and talked to other players I had. In the Showcase League that I broadcast, Jacob Sweeney, I don't know if anybody remembers him, but he played in our league. It was the Texas Winter League when I was there. But he and his brother actually both played in there, so I got to know them very well. But Skole was always very helpful in trying to land players onto our Showcase League or to direct them to the independent minor leagues that I had some ties with. There you go. I've got some ties with the boys down at Nakahoma Nation, or up at Nakahoma Nation as the case may be. Atlanta Braves baseball talk. We're going to get to it. What's wrong with them? Josh Brown, Nakahoma Nation. He's up next. Tri-Cities Sports Now.